Wait a minute. Oh, that's up in the 10, yeah.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and get started. Good afternoon. How's everyone today?
Good.
How was the weekend? Anything fun, exciting? I'd like to share my story if you don't mind. So, I had dropped my parents off, about a week ago down to, the airport in Tijuana, Mexico. So yesterday we went back to go pick them up after one week of, going to their home country, which is, state of Michoacan. So, for some odd reason, they wanted to go through, Tijuana, they wanted to do some stuff in Tijuana, get to the airport, and then fly to Guadalajara. And then from Guadalajara doing a two and a half hour drive down to, Michoacan. So yesterday was, pretty interesting, because what I don't, all right.
Are you good?
Yeah, we were having some issues. This wasn't set up, so
Okay.
we'll talk after. So it was, oh, let me omit these people. Not anymore.
Well, it's not fixing.
Hold on. Come on in. I think you almost. Yeah. I think we're okay. All right. Yeah, I know it's a little tricky. Okay. So, whatchamacallit? So I have what's called global entry.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which global entry has some awesome perks to it if you know what global entry is. But the rest of the family does not have global entry. But I also have what's called Sentry. And Sentry allows you to bypass all of the crossing over. So when I dropped them off last week, it was no problem because I went through Sentry. And within 15 minutes, I was already in the US. Simple.
Yeah.
Because if you know, the international airport for Tijuana is in Otay, which is on the top part of it. So there's another way that you go into Tijuana, and then there's where the international airport is. You come in, you're in Mexico, you do one quick turn, and boom, you're at the airport. And you're there, drop them off wherever, and then you just come right back and then into the US, right? So that was good last week. Yesterday was a whole different thing. And so, picked up my parents, their flight was delayed. So they didn't get here till 9 o'clock instead of, they were originally supposed to be here at 8 o'clock. Which gave me one extra hour of sleep, but still, because it takes about 2 to 2.5 hours to get to San Diego for the border, right? Yeah. So get there and everything is fine, pick them up, no problem. We ended up going out to Puerto Nuevo. I don't know if you ever heard of Puerto Nuevo, but it's a famous little town just south of Rosarito. And the reason it's famous is because they're known for their seafood, so if you love seafood, it's a great place. They got some great restaurants overlooking the ocean. So right on the cusp of the ocean, everything was fine, right? So we ate food, and now we're making our way back to cross over. Well, from Puerto Nuevo into the border. It's about almost an hour and 30-minute drive, so it's a quite a distance. But also, if you're familiar with that area, if you go back to 1996, there was a famous movie that came out in that year. And Leonardo DiCaprio was one of the main actors. 96, DiCaprio. Okay, there was a famous ship that was involved. Okay, still no clue. Titanic.
It was.
Yeah, the Titanic. You guys remember that movie?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So that movie, a lot of the scene was filmed in Baja California.
On the water.
On the water. So the actual ship motto, to this day, you can see parts of it.
Really?
Where they actually film where it's sinking and all of the images where they're in the ship was done in Baja, Mexico.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's a pretty interesting, and that's just little south of Puerto Nuevo where you can actually see where they film
Okay,
a lot of the movie Titanic.
okay.
So it's just a great little place to go and check out as you're going into Ensenada, which is another 2 hours south, but I didn't go that far. Because I knew I had to come back the following day because I needed to be back at the office. The moral of the story was, and why I'm saying, how was your weekend is, I decided to go through the main entry back into the US, and it was a complete stop. Literally stopped. I did not move not even 1 inch for about 2 hours.
Oh, my.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Oh,
They were not letting any people come back, and it was just like everyone was exhausted and tired. I literally fell asleep in the driver's seat,
Oh, God.
and I woke up and we're still on
No,
a
what?
Yeah, it was crazy. So I decided to get out of there after 2 hours waiting, and then go back to the very top and hope and cross my fingers that I would be able to get back. So I found a loophole, which I couldn't go through Sentry because, again, all of the passengers have to have global entry in order to be able, the car has to be registered. And also each and every individual that's crossing over to the US has to have that pass. So no one had it by myself. So I had to go through the main entrance. Well, thank goodness, it was a lot faster. It took me only about an hour and 15 minutes, but still an hour and 15 minutes is a long time. So in essence, that's how it was on my day. And there was just a little bit of traffic coming back while we were back on the 540.
So what
So
time
that
did you
was-
get home?
Huh?
What time did you get home?
Well, I mean, I left the house at 7 in the morning. We got back home maybe about 9:30 in the evening.
Okay.
But it was a whole day event too.
Yeah.
It wasn't that I just picked them up and brought them over.
Yeah.
We went and looked at some shops. We went and had lunch and all that stuff. That was yesterday,
Yeah.
which was really good to have. And then my sister and my brother were panicking. Oh my God, where are you guys? Why are you taking you so long? You guys are not answering. So yeah, that was my day yesterday.
Yeah.
Anyone like to share their weekend? Yes.
It's more of an informational weekend. I have a lot of friends that are in the development industry that are developers.
Yeah.
They have a specific niche on development.
Yeah.
And so this particular friend of mine, he was telling me that no one's buying his properties right now, and that, he's just having trouble getting any deals done.
Yeah.
And people say different things in election year. People are waiting to see what's going to happen. Interest rates are still kind of high. Prices are high.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what your take is on all this
Yeah.
chaos that's going on right now.
And that's a good segue that we'll be talking
Yeah.
about negotiations. But let's chat after,
Okay.
and I'm going to give you some insights on how you can
Okay.
maneuver in those conversations.
Okay.
So good point, and I'll definitely give you some pointers.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Any fun activities this weekend? Ellie?
Oh, I'm so happy after almost 3 months of open houses every weekend in Inglewood.
Yeah.
I had a buyer that came in 3 weeks ago, looked at the property. He sent a local offer. We responded back and he looked around and everything. And finally, we opened escrow today. So that was a big thing. That was like, oh my God, I'm telling you. I took the day out yesterday. I was still, I watched the awards and I watched the game and it was good. It was good.
Yeah, that's
Just
good.
chill.
Well, and the good thing is, sometimes, you may not see light on the other side of the tunnel, right? You're doing open houses, the frustration. Sometimes people don't show up, maybe very few attendants, and you still chop away every single day. And look what happened. So very happy for you, Ellie. Good job on that. But I see how you're dedicated to your business for sure.
And she had an interest in because she fell out of escrow being brought on that same property.
No, you got.
Oh, that was
We
the
got it
one.
back.
Okay, it was a
Yeah.
different one.
Yeah, but we got it back in the next, we had.
Beautiful. Well, awesome. Well, thank you everyone for sharing. My Chicago Bears won yesterday, so I'm very happy.
Oh, yeah.
So they're 4-2, so I'm hoping that they stay consistent with it. All right, everyone knows who I am already, so I don't have to preach who I am, right? So today is one of my best classes that I like to teach. Ignite 18 is one of the best for me. One is negotiation is the fundamental of real estate. And I'm going to share why negotiation is vital and important. And I want you to also understand, because you'll hear it from me, you'll hear it from Brandon, who teaches the the curriculum negotiations, right? And how he sees things. Imagine if I was in front of Brandon and Brandon in front of me and we're doing negotiations, how that would look, right? Two good negotiators going toe to toe, right? But the essence, it's not what you guys think. It's not that strong arm platform, right? That I'm gonna win and I'm gonna crush her, right? The essence of negotiations is the win-win for all. Okay, and I want you to think for a minute is I'm not gonna strong arm that individual, but how can we both win? That is the key of negotiations. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right, so if we have time, I want to share a video clip of a good movie clip that I really enjoy. If you haven't ever seen it, it's called Boiler Room. Boiler Room. Okay, write it down. It's a movie that I definitely recommend that you watch. Now, the movie has nothing to do with real estate. Okay, nothing to do with real estate. But the essence of what it is, it's a stockbroker company or firm. But they have cold callers. They have people that they constantly pick up the phone and make calls to commit people to buy stocks, mutual funds, and all those fun stuff, right? But there's a twist to the movie because they're doing things to manipulate, right? It has a great storyline, but what I like is the pitch of the senior broker when a junior broker puts someone on a call that is motivated to buy. And all of the junior stockbrokers know that if they hook someone, then they have to say, Recco, Recco, and immediately everyone stops and one of the senior stockbrokers will rush to pick up the phone to close the deal. Close the deal, right? Imagine if that was us, right? This is the boiler room. You guys are all calling people, right? And someone is motivated and you say, Recco! And then one of us that are seniors will help you close the deal because you get paid and I get paid. That's the movie. Okay? And it's a great actors
Year
like
was it?
that. I think it was 99 or 98. And I'm really good when it comes to movie years. I don't know what it is, that if you tell me a movie, I can tell you more or less when the year that movie came out. Yeah. So that movie, when you have time, I would definitely recommend watching. Okay, it has nothing to do with real estate, but it gives you a parameter and a base of negotiations. Okay. Any questions? All right, well, let's continue. All right, we all gone through the telemarketing warning, right?
Yes.
Do not call and all that fun stuff. So I'm going to bypass all of this stuff. All right. So now, section 18 talks about negotiating offers. Okay, the beauty of negotiations. All right, and this is one of the best classes in my opinion because you know everything we do is negotiations. Negotiations in the beginning, negotiations during, and negotiations even to the very end of a transaction that you'll be in. That's the beauty is you got to be able to hold on to that transaction before it falls apart, right? And the reason is you don't want the deal to cancel, right, Alex? We want to finish this and we do whatever it takes.
We do.
Close the deal, man. Sometimes we're in pins and needles. Pins and needles, just trying to get this deal survive and finish through to the home stretch, right, and reporting, right? But in essence, you may have some dilemmas where you're gonna have some unfortunate circumstances. Buyer gets cold feet, seller gets cold feet. They cannot come to an agreement, right? And now it pivots into more of a cancellation. And now you're back to square one, right? And that sometimes happens. Our job is to be that sticky glue of the transaction. That's your job, and your priority is to help push the buyer, help push the seller to the very end. Does that make sense? Okay. All right, so negotiating offers. All right, so the 3 P's of negotiations, and then we'll do a recap. What is negotiations? And negotiating tips, I will provide you with some ideal tips that I can recommend for you. And then our daily success. All right, so negotiations is not something to be avoided or feared. It's an everyday part of life, okay? I want you to resonate this because I think it holds a lot of weight, okay? You know who are the best negotiators? Your children.
Oh, yeah. They don't say, no.
How about
why?"
our parents? We need to tell her.
I think your children are better negotiators than us parents. You know, especially if it's a little cute boy, little cute girl, and they give you the little eyes and the little smile. You know, yeah, or the little crying on that. But your children are always the best, or even your pets.
Yeah.
What is it you haven't done for your pet? You know, they sat there, they're looking at you, they give you that, puppy eyes. You just want to give them whatever they want, right? Your animals sometimes are your best negotiators, in my opinion, right? So how do we become good negotiators, right? Well, it's not something that you're gifted. It can be something that you can definitely learn. All of you can learn negotiations. And negotiations, again, it's not the ability to bulldoze people, right? I can go right here and start pushing people, right?
Yeah.
And bulldoze all the, no. There's a win for all, okay? And I'll implement some action plans that will navigate how that works, okay? And I promise you, you'll close more deals, you get more buyers to close, and more sellers and investors to close as well. Did everyone already get a copy or a photo of this?
Yeah.
Okay. So what is negotiations? Okay, in your opinion, all right? I think I gave you the answers already, right, of what negotiations are, right? It's the ability to help people get what they want, all right, or what you want. How many times have you gone to a retail store and asked for a discount? I always ask for a discount, okay?
Yeah.
And sometimes I do it just to play with people.
Yeah.
And guess what? I still get discounts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you can't do that at this retail store or the market. If you don't ask, you'll never know. You gotta ask. And I'm gonna give kudos to Allie because Allie is one that likes to ask. She'll definitely ask, hey, you know what? I'm just curious, is there any type of discount? Or can you do better?
Yeah.
Like things that you want to buy, used stuff, like I go to, different websites to find things, right? Hey, do you provide any type of discounts, right? And just wait until I become a senior citizen. Oh man, am I gonna take advantage of that,
You
right?
go back to the 70s, 50-cent tacos.
I think it's 55, right?
Yeah.
I only got 4 more years to
Oh,
55.
nice.
No way I'm gonna use that, no way. I was trying to stay at this age forever and ever.
Yeah.
But negotiations is which of the W4C2Ps relates back to negotiations, right? Well, I think negotiations is really win-win or no deal. Okay, negotiations, in my opinion, is integrity. Do the right thing, right? Because you can take advantage of people in negotiations too, right?
Yeah.
So I think it also portrays integrity. Customers always come first, right? I think that's also part of negotiations, right? As a flight attendant with many years with Delta, right?
Yeah.
The importance and the faucet of customer service, right?
Yeah.
Vital and important, right?
Yeah.
We may be having a crappy day, we may be having a not so good day, but we would do our very, very best to make sure that no one saw that we were having a bad day, right? Commitment in all things, right? The commitment that we have in our daily business, right? And it's up to us at the end of the day. It is really up to us because no one else is going to do it better than you, right? You can get a roadmap, right? But you're not going to be able to do it as well as you, right? That's also a commitment. Communication, one of the biggest things, guys.
That's the
If
number one.
anything, that is so huge.
Yeah.
Communication is everything. Okay? Seek first to understand, right? So here's the problem that I see a lot in real estate professions. They want to do the business, but they lack communications. They lack communications. And the problem with that is I know we get overwhelmed. But at one point, make an emphasis to make sure you return calls.
Right.
That is survival of your business.
Even if they say, oh, I'll be right with you, or, I know I'm working on it, but let me just tell you what's going on, that thing.
100%. 100%. Yeah. Success is it's in the communications. And here's 3 factors that you have to understand in real estate and communications. You got to get good, you got to get bad, and you sometimes have to get ugly. Bad news.
Yeah.
Good news. Congratulations, Mimi. We closed the deal. We recorded today. So let's meet up today at 5 o'clock. I would love to give you the keys and let's do a social media photo.
Yeah.
That's great news,
Yeah.
right? Bad news. Hey, the buyer decided to cancel. They got cold feet, unfortunately, and we have to start back up again. But they send out the cancellations. Bad news, right? We have to sometimes give those information to our sellers. The ugly. Looks like they're seeking attorneys.
Oh.
They're looking at that there's damage here. We have to now prepare Mimi that we may have to seek an attorney as well. Ugly, right? It can be very ugly. But the essence is you got to give it all. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Okay. And the problem that I see with a lot of agents is they'll hide under a blanket and hope that it goes away.
That it doesn't go away.
Yeah.
It doesn't go away. Maybe tomorrow it'll go away if I don't say anything today.
I always wondered if that was the right thing to do or not, but now it's not.
Well, and the problem is, and I see this happening. I don't want to say anything that's going to incriminate me if I write something or if I say something. This is why I rather not say it. I understand. You still want to communicate. You don't want to spill all of it, right? That now they can use that against you, right?
Yeah.
But the essence is, look, I understand that you call me. I will call you as soon as possible, right? At least make an effort in a dialogue, right? You got to be a good listener, not say as much, especially if you think they're setting you up. Okay? Always bring the broker involved. Okay? I deal with this all the time.
Yeah, I bet you do.
Okay? And I know what to do and what to say. And if it gets sideways, then I just kind of politely says, well, you know what? I got to stop this because it's going in a directions that I am unfortunately not able to do so. Once you start talking about attorneys, then, we need to get our legal attorneys as well. And we're okay to do so.
Yeah.
All right. But you don't have to be put right on the spotlight and be right in front of the bus and think you're going to get hit, right? But in essence, you do definitely want to have that dialogue because if you stay silent, it just puts more fuel to that person.
It's gonna get worse.
Yeah, makes sense. Creativity, ideas before results, teamwork. Together, everyone achieves more. Trust starts with honesty. In real estate, it's all about honesty, guys. That can go sideways really, really quick. Equity, opportunities for all, right? The beauty of real estate and the awesome part of what we have here at South Bay is the diversified culture. I think we have every element of different cultures here, and that's what makes this office so unique. And then success results through people, right? You succeed, I succeed, all succeed. That's the awesome part. Make sense?
Yeah.
All right, the path of negotiations. There are 2 options after an offer is presented, right? The option 1 is the offer, acceptance, and close. Option 2, offer, rejection, counter, negotiations, acceptance, rejections, or close. So I want you to kind of think about this diagram for a minute, right? And the reason I want you to think about it is because either or are perfectly fine, okay? Your offer gets submitted and your offer gets accepted. Slam dunk. Yeah. Right? How many times, if any, have you submitted an offer and your offer gets accepted? That's a good day. Okay? It's happened to me multiple times. Multiple times. Okay? And it can happen to you as well. But how do you get an offer accepted, right? Well, you got to look at many factors. Is it something that the seller is okay accepting, right? Because if you throw a very low offer with terms that are favorable to your buyer, the seller is going to reject it, right? They're going to say, well, there's nothing in here that's enticing to me.
Right.
I'm the one that's selling the asset and they want to take advantage of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're going to kick it to the curb. But in essence, if you're having dialogue and conversations, right, make the win-win out of the deal, then you're going to get that acceptance with no counters. Those are good things.
Yeah.
Right, Alan?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, option two is your offer, right, can be rejected because you did do a low offer or your offer get countered. That's the majority of the time that you're going to see is that your offer may get countered. They're going to submit, you're going to submit your offer, right? And the listing agent is going to review it with the sellers, and now they're going to come back with their counter. And there's two parts to that. Part one is a seller counter. Part two is a multiple counter offer, meaning they're countering not just you, but they're countering other buyers as well. Okay? And then that's where the negotiation, because there's no negotiations here, right? It's a clean deal.
Yeah.
You got it accepted. That's your negotiation. You must have done something right. This is where you have to use your skill sets. Okay, the skill sets that you need in order to push it to get to where?
Close.
Absolutely, to get it to close. Right? Beginning to end, right? It's like reading a book, right? Do you read it from the back forward, or do you read it from the beginning to the back? Well, it depends on who you are.
Yeah.
I want to get to the meat and potato of this. I don't care about all this to lead me. I want to know there's people that do that. But the essence is there's a process, right? A process. But there's always going to be negotiations. Okay. All right. Your clients, the agent on the other side of the transaction, right? So you got the buyer, you got the buyer's agent, you got the seller's agent, and you got the seller, okay? This is a full transaction, okay? In this specific scenario, can I take the buyer's agent and just have a buyer, seller, and a seller agent?
Yes.
You're representative.
Yes,
Represented buyer.
yeah. Or vice versa, can I have a buyer's agent and a buyer and a seller?
Yes.
Absolutely. Okay, so even if I cover one or the other, okay, an agent can facilitate one or both parties. That's what we call dual agency. Okay, so in essence, a seller agent works specifically with the seller. A buyer's agent works specifically with the buyer. Separates both, right? Consider a wall. Okay, there's a wall in between both parties, right? Between the buyer and the seller. All right. Our job is to be able to climb over to the wall to know what the terms of the seller. The seller's position is to be able to jump over that wall to see what the buyer's concessions are, right? What is the buyer willing to offer, right? Because even though the buyer may submit an offer to the seller may reject it, counter it, or accept it. Vice versa. The buyer may submit an offer and the buyers may get a counter and the buyer may accept it, the buyer can counter, or the buyer can reject it. It works both ways. We're all with that? Okay? Nothing rocket science about that, right? Common sense.
Yeah.
Either party can negotiate all this. Yes, ma'am.
What kind of buyer concessions could there be? what, I know about seller possessions, you can do anything, closing, termite inspections, but as far as a buyer, what can the buyer come bring to the table besides surprise and maybe the normal? I mean,
Like,
buyer concession, what could be a good enticing buyer concession, I guess, to throw a carrot to the seller, you know?
so, and that's a good point. You know, there's a couple things that you can do as concessions. And thank you, because you're reading, you must be reading my mind,
Yeah, I
because
get it,
there was
I
a,
have your mind,
Yeah.
I'm able to.
I was gonna talk about the camel and the carrot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So you were already, that was gonna be a little later in my
Yeah, well,
presentation, but you brought it up, so I'll bring it. So here's a couple of things that you can do as a buyer, right? Obviously, with the help of your buyer's agent, right? I'm gonna use Mimi because Mimi is wearing her name tag. Okay, so let's just say that Mimi is the listing agent, right? And I'm the buyer's agent representing you, okay, Jewel? So, you know, you want this property and you already said, look, whatever it takes, which fits in my criteria and my budget, right? So my job is to try to navigate and make it a win-win for you, but also to be able to get an
I really want
acceptance.
this property.
I know you do, but I'm gonna do my darnest to be able to get it. But my hands are tied if it's not realistic, right? But I'm gonna reach out to the listing agent and I'm gonna get as much of the core information to make this a win-win. But let me ask you, Joel, what are some of the incentives that you're okay, willing to do to propose this offer to get your offer accepted? So here's a couple of things that we can do, okay? One, reduce the close of escrow. Instead of your traditional 30 days, let's see if we can push the lender to close it in 20, 21, or 25 days.
Okay.
Okay? The other thing we can do to entice the seller is maybe reduce the contingencies. Instead of 21 loan, 21 appraisal, 21 seller inspections, 21 days for home inspection. We'll reduce it from 17 days down to 12 days. Okay? Maybe we can put a larger deposit, which is all refundable. But instead of your traditional 3%, why don't we put, you know, 40% into deposit? So with faith that you're putting some, that money is still going towards your down payment. But when I see that from a listing agent's perspective, boy, this buyer's serious. And they're committed. If they're willing to put that much money into this escrow,
Yeah.
it shows how motivated this buyer is. Okay, that's an incentive, right? The other incentive is maybe after I speak with Mimi and I ask Mimi, hey Mimi, what does your seller want? Does your clients need time and possession after close? Maybe they're relocating to a different state. And by me asking those questions,
Yeah.
they may need just 30 days after close of escrow to accommodate the seller on their transition out of California. Does that make sense? So I can use that as an ammunition and an avenue to get our offer accepted. Because if we give what the seller wants to a reasonable effort, you're going to get your offer accepted. You're going to be happy. The seller and both agents are going to be happy. Does that make sense? Yeah. All right. What other alternatives and ideas that we can give, right? You can smooth the listing agents as well. I'll give you a scenario, okay? I had a client who was selling her property out in San Diego. And I was fairly new to the office, and it was an agent that was used to work here. She didn't want to handle it. She says, Simon, here's a referral. If you want it, you can take it. She's looking to buy a condominium here in the South Bay. I said, yeah, I'll take on the referral and I'll give you a referral compensation. So I reach out to the client, introduce myself. I told her I was giving your contact information from this agent and I wanted to see what I could do to help. She goes, oh, thank you very much. when are you planning? Because she was selling her house in San Diego.
Mhm.
So after having a conversation with her, she said, well, the reason I'm moving out to the South Bay is because my son lives here. My son lives in Redondo Beach, so I want to be closer because he just got married and they're looking to have a child. So I want to start preparing for it because San Diego, the South Bay, it's a big commute.
Yeah.
I want to be closer here to my son. I said, no problem. When is your home gonna sell? Or do are you working with an agent? Yeah, we're in escrow. This is about to close in maybe 2 to 3 weeks. I said, fantastic. Well, let's go ahead and start looking for a home. So I met with her here at the office. I met the son, I met the wife, and I met the mom. Super nice little family. So got a chance to really get to know, and I started asking those questions, right? What are we looking for? Well, I want to buy a condominium, but I want to pay cash for it. I said, oh, okay. I see, okay, because she was selling a higher end price point in San Diego. So she was able to, get something here without cash. I says, okay, wonderful. What areas are you looking? She goes, well, I like to be in the Redondo or even better up in the PV area. I says, okay, fantastic. So what are the criterias that you're looking for? I says, well, it has to be minimum of 2 bedrooms, and, at least 1 or 1.5 baths. I says, okay, not a problem. Is that what you're looking, or do you want a house? No, I don't want a house anymore. I've lived in a house.
Yeah.
I want to downsize. It's only me. I just need that extra space where I can come and go, no problems. I don't want to maintain anything. Semi-retired. I'm a, teacher by trade. This is wonderful. Okay. So that weekend, we started the searches of homes, and we went. Within 2 weeks, I found a property for her up in PV. Condominium, 2 bedrooms, 2 bath, beautiful with a slight view of the ocean. She fell in love with it. It just hit the market that same day. That same day, but she wanted the property. Now I said, okay, her house, because she needed the funds in order to buy this place, right? So, and it was a brand new listing, and it was by a Brookshire agent up in the hill.
Mhm.
So I says, okay, let me go ahead and prepare the offer. And the problem is, okay, when it came to the deposit, how much can you put down? I says, I don't really have money. I go, we gotta put something. Can you put, $10,000?
Yeah.
I don't have $10,000. Oh, okay. Can you put 5,000? I don't have $5,000.
So it's contingent on her selling the other property, having
Yeah.
She
sold.
didn't have anybody in the meantime.
Yeah, apparently she just didn't have. I says, well, how much can you put?
Yeah.
500.
No.
And I says, oh, okay, but I have to borrow it from my son. She was cash poor.
Yeah.
Financially, because I remember, if I remember, it was like $550,000 cash deal.
So all of her money was in equity.
So the money and everything, so she didn't have the means.
Yeah.
500, and I still had to borrow that $500. I said, well, the listing just came on the market. You only have a $500 deposit. Okay. And we obviously need to close after your sale so we can wire the money to us. Got it. All right. Well, this is going to be a long stretch. All right. So what I ended up doing was I thought outside the box. I said, instead of calling the listing agent, what I'm going to do is this. Okay, I want you to write this down. Okay, because this is one of the key negotiations. And I'm going to give it to you for free.
Thank you.
Okay? Not
It
gonna
cost you
charge you.
$500.
It's not even going to cost you $500, guys. But this is just something to have as part of your arsenal. I was able to get my offer accepted. I got it accepted. She ended up canceling the open house. Okay, because she was going to do an open house. This was on a Thursday. And they were gonna do open house, and they were anticipating, a lot of people showing. This is when the market was still hot. So I called the agent and I said, hello, my name is Simon with Keller Williams. The property over on, I don't remember the address, ABC Street, is the property still available? Yeah, it just came on the market today. You're actually my fourth person that called. I said, wonderful. Well, we saw the property. It's a beautiful property and, we saw it today and my client loves it. He goes, wonderful. Yeah, it's great, community. The HOA is great. There's a slight view of the ocean, access parking, close to the market, close to a lot of the amenities up in the hill. I said, yeah. And I said, I would like to present the offer in person to you.
Mhm.
And she repeated the question, excuse me?
Mhm.
Yeah, my client has instructed me that she would like me to present the offer to you in person.
Did you get her permission? Or you just set that out there to?
Hold on. Okay. No, I didn't ask my buyer's permission.
You just.
I just brought it up.
Okay.
Yeah. Remember what I said earlier, you gotta think outside the box, right? She goes. What do you mean present the offer in person? I go, yeah, I would like to meet with you in person to present the offer to you. She go, well, that's not normal. Well, I'm not a normal person. Okay. One, I want to introduce myself so you know who the person that's presenting the offer to you. Okay. Can I be with you this afternoon? She goes, I'm not available this afternoon, but I can meet you the following day if you want. But that's not how, I don't have the decision. I understand that you're not the decision maker. Okay. But I was instructed by my client to present the offer to you. I would love the opportunity to meet with you and present the offer directly to you instead of me emailing it to you.
Yeah.
Okay. So I immediately did all my research. I got all of the information. I Googled and I just tried to find as much intel of this individual agent. Okay, you gotta be a stalker without being a stalker.
Right.
You know what I mean, right?
Look at their Facebook.
Look at their profile, see what their needs and what their wants are. See if they have a personal life too, right? That you can use as part of your negotiations. Okay? Yeah.
It's just.
So the following day, I meet with her, and remember, first impressions will go far. So I buttered up the front desk. Okay, I went in there with a big smile. I introduced, hi, I have an appointment with so and so. What a beautiful office. Wow, what a great outfit. Wow, whatever you do, you want to, because this helped me too. Because after, and I'll explain, when she went and talked to the agent to come and get me because her office was in the back, she goes, oh, there's this gentleman outside, super nice, that he says that he has an appointment with. Oh, is his name Simon? Yes, Simon. Okay, yeah. I'll come out from there. So she comes out, I meet with her, and I give her a firm handshake. I mean, finally, I just hear and see the face and the voice, right? Thank you so much, Mimi, for meeting with me. I really appreciate my buyer. I greatly appreciate it. I come on into my office. So we go to her office and we shoot the breeze. We're just talking. She goes, what did you do to my front desk? She goes, well, why? She goes, I don't know. She came in here with a big smile. She was very happy. I said, I just introduced myself. Well, you must have done something because she was very grateful for it. Point one, right? Point two, then I said with her, look, I don't want to I know how busy you are, and I'm grateful that you spend a little bit of time for me to present. I know this is out of the norm, right? We don't do that, but I told you over the phone that I'm not normal. I said, the reason I wanted to personally meet with you is because my client is very serious. All right. And because of the situation here, this is the reason it would be better for me to explain it to you than just email you the form or the offer. Okay. And I says, here's my proposal. It's an all cash deal. We're giving you asking price of what you have it on the listing. we can close in 3 weeks or less. We're gonna reduce all of the contingencies. The deposit is a factor because my client is cash poor, but will eventually, on the increased deposit, we're gonna put the additional amount. So that was the key. I had put $500, but on the increased deposit, 2 weeks later, when she closes, we were gonna wire the additional funds to secure that we have in good faith the amount to push forward. But it was an all cash deal, right? She goes, okay. I says, she goes, I'm having an open house this weekend and it's already set up. This will be my first open house. I says, I understand that you're having an open house, but also please understand my client is moving from San Diego. She's selling her house from San Diego, moving because her son and her son's wife, daughter-in-law, live here in Redondo Beach. And this is already my second weekend of showing properties. And this condominium that she listed just hits all the bells and whistles. And she really, really likes it. It's conveniently located. It's close in proximity to her son, which they're planning to have children. This is the reason she's moving over here. And, you know, she really wants this property and she's willing to do whatever it takes to make this work. I said, well, I can't give you an answer right now, but I will present it to the seller. I says, okay, I understand. You know, and again, I really truly appreciate your time. You know, I know you probably don't get an agent coming to your office presenting the offer, but you know, I told you this is who I am. Okay, and I'm a professional, and all I want to do is help close this deal with you. I said, I appreciate that. You know, never in my 15 years of doing real estate, never had anyone present it to me. Okay. So I said, okay, and I left it. That evening, that same day, she calls me and she says, Simon? I said, yes. I spoke with my seller. I said, okay. And I don't know, there was just something about you that I just resonated with the seller. And she even says, who does that? That goes to your office to present an offer. I'm going to cancel the open house. So we're going to accept your offer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because
True
you
story.
made an impact, yeah.
I made an impact.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not just the impact from the original entry to that building with the front desk, but also with the agent. He literally canceled her open house and she just had faith that we were able to close it. And we did it.
Yeah.
Within 2.5 weeks after we closed on her, she closed on her San Diego home, wired the money, and we were done.
Yeah.
One of the most smoothest offers and transactions, you know, and again, she was very grateful and it's like, wow, you know, there was just something about the way you approached it.
Yeah.
Remember, at the end, ladies and gentlemen, you got to think outside the box. Okay, think out other ways and how you can maneuver. That is
That's right, yeah.
negotiations.
Because a listing agent influences, you know, the seller, definitely, you know, and when she said, oh, Simon came in and presented the offer in person, I mean, that's huge.
Yeah.
Well,
But
Yeah, go ahead, Alan.
well, also, like, I mean, I got offers, you know, when I had a listing. And, you know, the market was very, very hot, so there was a demand. I mean, buyers were going over price, of course, asking price. But at the same time, they were sometimes paying for sellers escrow. You know, they would like throw all kinds of different things into the contract to get the deal, you know,
Right.
like, yeah, you have, you know, pay the seller's escrow and cut the dates, like you said, and all that stuff. So I mean, there's a lot of things they can do. Pay for their warranty
Oh, yeah.
insurance, that's, you know, $600 less for the buyer. I mean, a seller to spend. So, you know,
Yeah.
when it gets tough
And
and
it-
there's too many offers, I mean, buyers are willing to do that if they can, you know what I mean?
Well, and just to add to that, remember, she didn't have to.
Yeah.
She could have easily said, you know what, let's just wait to the open houses
Yeah,
and then we'll entertain.
yeah.
And that could have happened, right?
Yeah.
What if another agent higher price, hey, I already got an offer in place, so that could have, but that didn't happen. Who knows, right? Imagine if I didn't do that.
Yeah, yeah,
And I did, and I was able to get that canceled open house.
yeah.
Now, it still could have gone the other way. I understand. Thank you. I will present it.
Yeah.
but all offers will be considered the following Monday. Okay, I just got lucky on the draw because I thought outside the box.
Yeah.
So I want you to start thinking of ways and how you can influence. If someone truly wants that property,
Yeah,
how do you wiggle your way into the core to get your offer accepted? That's all. Not saying my way is the best way, but it's just making you think of other ways and how you can approach it.
but you
Simple.
added your personality toward.
Yeah.
And-
You always want to throw in your personality, your charm,
Yeah,
whatever that looks like. My
Yeah.
way is different than yours and yours and yours and yours and yours, right? It just, for me, that's how I was able to get my offer accepted. You had a question? Yes.
Simon, you cannot, I mean, you cannot behave like that unless you were sure that San Diego was sold, right?
100%.
be
It
alive.
was- it was not true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
It was sold 100%, right?
No, it was still an escrow.
Yeah.
It was still an
And
escrow.
you were in the,
But remember, I have for 25 days. Her property was closing in 2 weeks.
yeah,
you can cancel. right?
Yeah, so if we needed to back out, we can always cancel. The buyer still was safe. Yeah,
Because your integrity and your word also is,
very powerful. Yeah. And I will never compromise my integrity. You know, but I'm gonna say, and I was truthful to it, it's a cash deal, but the cash is still not in her bank account.
right.
It's still, but we didn't put that as a condition. I crossed my fingers that the deal closes and that we were gonna close, but I was very transparent. The proceeds and the funds are coming from a closed transaction happening in 2 weeks.
So basically, well, okay, this is, the worst part is that she has a $500 deductible. That's like having no money when it comes to real estate. It's
$500 deductible.
500, I'm sorry, I'm thinking about insurance, a $500 deposit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's like basically like a penny, right? It's like you have a point and a penny. So did you actually sit down and brainstorm with your buyer and all these other
Yeah.
things that you can to make that little penny worthless? and
Yeah, so
everything
if you
else?
look at the purchase agreement, and I know we're gonna go off topic a little bit, but on the purchase agreement, there's the earnest deposit. And there's another section that says increase deposit. And it says that increase can be done at a later date. So I put $500 as the earnest deposit, that if our offer gets accepted, money 500 will go immediately into escrow within 2 days. The additional deposit was going to be in a couple weeks. When she closes her deal, we're gonna wire some of that money. And that additional was, I don't remember what it was, $10,000, $15,000. So I put the two amounts there.
Okay,
One now, 1 in 2 weeks.
okay.
And then the cash deal was, the offer.
And did you also remove all contingencies like the?
No, we just reduced the contingencies.
Oh,
So you didn't have to wait for loan approval.
Because remember, this was not an all cash for the seller had the money. The San Diego property could have still canceled.
Mhm.
And if we didn't put a stipulation, if that cancels, we don't have a deal.
Yeah.
So I still kept the contingencies in place.
Okay.
Yeah.
You kept her safe and.
That's right. Any other questions? Yeah, please.
So that, the other concurrent, when the condo or the house that she was selling in San Diego, at the time, they haven't removed the contingencies yet, so there's, or did they? Did it look like it was
I don't-
ready to
I don't-
close, or-
I don't remember, to be quite honest with you. I just knew that they were gonna close in 2 weeks.
It looked like it was ready to close.
Yeah.
without any-
Yeah, so I was not in communications with the agent there. The seller was keeping me tabs. That the buyer had released conditions, so I don't really remember, but I knew that in 2 weeks they were gonna close, but they looked pretty solid. So she was the one communicating, the seller, who was my buyer, submitting the offer on the agent of the house. Make sense?
So you just keep all the stars aligned and keep it
Yeah.
going.
You just do a little bit of prayer, crossing the fingers, whatever, cross your legs,
Yeah.
all that stuff. I don't know. All right. So price, usually the primary factor, the cost of the property, right? And then terms. So negotiations is many variables, right? And the variables is always gonna boil back to the core of a transaction, right? It's always price, terms, and conditions. That's what negotiations is all about, price, terms, and conditions. People will accept, will counter, or will reject based on price. People will, what do you call it? People, I already lost my chain of thought, sorry. People will counter based on price, terms, and conditions, or people will reject based on price, terms, and conditions, right? The three things, right? Either they accept it because of the price, terms, and condition, they would counter based on price, terms, and condition, or reject it based on price, terms, and condition. Okay? They'll accept it because, hey, it's a great price, great terms, great condition. Or they'll counter saying, well, you know what, the price can be a little higher. We're going to counter that, right? But all of the terms and conditions are okay with it. Or we're going to reject it because the price is just too low. The terms they're asking are ridiculous. I just don't want to deal with this knucklehead of a buyer. Okay? Those, all three is always going to be the same elements. Make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's skip to next. Now we're going to be talking about the 3 P's of negotiations, right? And I want you to take a photo, write it down. I'll leave it up for a little bit because this is also very, very important, ladies and gentlemen, is the 3 P's approach, right? It's all prepare, present, position. Prepare, present, position. Okay? Preparation is the key to building confidence and ensuring a smooth transaction process. Present, moving into the negotiation process by presenting the offer, right? And then position, move both parties closer until you have full agreement, okay? And I'm going to set the tone and I'm going to put a parameter in place for you to understand because negotiations is what I love. I never get the emotion of a transaction. Never.
You never what?
Okay, I never get emotionally entangled in the negotiation.
Oh, okay.
If you throw me an offer, I'm not gonna be pissed off. People get really pissed off.
The agents? Or the.
In general.
Yes, oh, really?
Yeah, you're selling something and I say, I wanna offer you,
Yeah, that's-
are you
And
freaking
you-
crazy? I get upset.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm gonna share a story with you
Yeah.
because this is why I believe that I'm good at what I do. Okay, not the best, but I'm good. And I have to give credit where credit is due. And the credit goes to my parents.
Yeah.
My mom was the straight out hustler, negotiator, hardness. Where my father was the charming, charismatic individual. And I think I got a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I got both of them. Yeah,
Yeah.
I got both of them. So I got the negotiator of my mom, and then I got the charming of my father.
That's good.
Because
Yeah.
my father could work a room
Uh-huh.
when he had open heart surgery, and he was in the hospital for 30 days.
Yeah.
And when I finally got a chance to go visit him, because he was placed in Mexico, I kid you not, I felt like my father was a celebrity. Oh my Lord.
All the nurses.
All of the nurses were constantly coming in checking in with my father. What the hell, Dad?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
You know, there was a person about to die
Yeah.
that had an infection and eventually
Oh my
died.
God.
And it was just the craziest thing.
They were spending more time with your dad.
But my dad was like walking with his little IV, going down the halls and just making conversation.
Yeah.
That's my father.
Yeah.
How did your mom handle
Okay.
all of that?
Well, that's why they're divorced.
Oh.
But they still get together though. They still.
Yeah, well, my parents, I just told you, picked them
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
There's a photo of my parents,
Yeah.
my mom and my stepfather and my father together. So
Okay.
Mhm.
they're good co-parents now, you
Yeah.
know, this is what, 51 years later.
Yeah.
In essence, you know, that's my father, and to this day, my dad is my dad. You know, he's what, 71 years of age, but that will never change. On the other side, my mom, who was the core, because when my parents divorced and I was 9 years old, my father ended up moving and remarried, and I have 2 beautiful sisters in Mexico, okay? So I got to see my mom because my mom had 3 jobs. She worked for the school district. She was selling comforters door to door in some of the roughest neighborhoods. And then on the weekends, my mom was working at the swap meet,
Wow,
selling used tools.
wow,
Okay, so she was like everywhere.
yeah.
I hardly ever saw my mom, because my mom was always constantly working. But there was still something that I was able, even as a young kid, didn't like going and hanging out with them in the car, waiting while they're doing their door-to-door sales.
Yeah,
It's something core came out of it. Where now, as an adult, that's who I am,
yeah.
and you can't change me.
Yeah.
I'm a workaholic by trade, but I don't see it as work, if that makes sense.
She instilled that in you, yeah.
She
definitely.
instilled in
Yeah.
that
And
as
you
much as
saw
my
her and-
father,
Yeah.
even though she never sat with me, here are the rules to
No,
life,
you watch, yeah.
but it was something that I mentally saw. And a lot of parents, you know, who are hard workers, there's a great book that I would definitely, if you haven't read it, called Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Which
Oh,
then,
yeah.
Okay, if you have not read that book, I highly recommend that book. Okay, because it talks about Kiyosaki's view of his two fathers, his stepfather and his real father. Both smart people, but one had more money than the other. Okay, that's a great book to read. It's called Rich Dad Poor Dad. Okay, that was kind of me, but it was rich mom, rich poor dad. You know. Because I got something from my mom and something from my father. The essence is now it created Simon. Okay. And Simon is a whole different animal, you know. So I could take on both my parents because it's so funny. Right now, my mom says, Mijo, why do you work so much?
Uh-huh,
Go, Mom, I work because I saw you work all your entire life.
yeah.
That's instilled in me. You're not gonna be able to change it. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. And then my father, being my father, you know, love him to death, but he's a spitfire sometimes.
What did he do for a living?
You know, so kind of backstory, my father came at the age of 14 from Mexico.
Okay,
And my godparents, who he was living with at the time, trying to make money here to take back, because my grandfather was an alcoholic.
oh,
So he needed to leave that environment and help my grandmother, his mom, by supporting some financial needs. So he would come to the US and then he would go and, help with the family. My father had 9 brothers and sisters.
wow.
So little by little, he was then helping bring some of his siblings over to the US and eventually all of my father, now the only one that lives in Mexico and the rest are here in the US. But my father was a professional truck driver,
Okay,
driving the semi trucks.
yeah,
So that was his trade. He was really good and awesome driver, man. When it came to parallel parking,
yeah.
one shot, boom, 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 hard. My mom, and both didn't have any education.
Yeah.
My mom has a 3rd grade education, my father probably a 5th grade education. But the only thing that they knew was hard work,
Yeah.
and that's what they instilled. They didn't instill for me to go to college and get a degree and none of the stuff, that was not what was instilled in me.
Yeah.
That was not my environment, But for a lot of us growing up, it was, because if your parents were educated, that means you would be educated too, because that's how you would instill. They just wanted me to have a job, whatever that is. If you love it, run with it,
Yeah.
I just chose whatever I thought I had a passion for, right? And
Yeah.
ran with it.
Yeah,
But in everything, for me, is negotiations is to be able to, negotiate something for the good and also something for diffusing.
Right.
And I used that when I was in working for the county and dealing with some bad people.
people, right.
Okay.
Criminals.
And also out in the street.
Yeah,
And I can tell you a true story. If Mary King was here, she would tell you because she saw it firsthand. I was in Austin, Texas, and there was a fight just about to happen. Right on the corner out in the street, where 2 guys were about to start duking it out. Why did I choose to do what I did? I intervened. And I was able to diffuse the situation. And everyone was as shocked and honest, like, why would you get yourself in the mess in there? You could have been easily involved in that, said I could. When you got alcohol involved or some type of a controlled substance, you know, you're not in your right mind.
Yeah.
But there was something about the scenario and the situation, big man, little man,
Uh-huh.
not gonna win,
No.
not gonna look good.
No.
And my concern was the safety of that guy.
Yeah.
Not that I want to defend the guy, but if I can diffuse the situation, de-escalate it, then everyone is safe. Okay, one injured, both in jail, who knows,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I don't know why I did what I did, but it was just my instinct from my past experience.
Yeah.
Went in there, was able to diffuse it, you know, it's not worth it, and both ended up, and it was like,
Wow.
and if you ever talk to Mary King,
Yeah,
she can
that's
tell you,
good.
because she was there
I
seeing it.
like it.
So going back to prepare, present, and position, right? You know, preparation is the key to building confidence, right? Remember, just like the scenario, and many of your scenarios would happen. Okay, I want you to start thinking of how you're gonna navigate after you know, and this is both sides, folks. Working with sellers, working with buyers, right? You gotta know what their needs and wants, because once you know their needs and wants, it's easier for you to now navigate it. Because now you have the tools that you need, right? In real estate, what is the core tool that you need? What is the one thing that you need?
A place to live.
No.
Money.
Can you elaborate on the question?
Maybe it was a little too broad or too big. In real estate,
Yeah.
okay, I'm talking to you as a real estate agent, what is the one thing that you need?
Still to negotiate.
No, that's skills. What is the number one tool you need?
They're listening.
It's your phone.
Yeah.
You need your phone.
Yeah.
Why do you need your phone? Because all of your communications are done here. Okay, it wasn't a trick question. It wasn't me too tricky, guys.
Right.
It's like, do I need to have a PhD degree?
I was like, need fires and
Yeah.
sellers.
I get it, but that was not the key, if you were able to answer it, is you need a phone. Without a phone, you can't run a real estate business. Think about it.
Nobody can.
Are you gonna go to Big Bear
No.
every time? Hey, I gotta tell you, your offer was accepted.
Yeah.
I'm gonna come back and then, no, right?
No.
So you need
Yeah.
the tools, right? Just like you need a laptop, just like you need a tablet,
Need a car.
just like you need a vehicle, right? That's one of the essentials you need, right? Well, in the preparation is when preparing to have those conversations to set yourself for success, you need to have the right tools, right? Educating yourself, right? Knowing your numbers, right? And knowing what your buyer or seller's needs and wants it. Because then once you have that information, now you can now maneuver your way to land. Okay, and I use a lot of planes because that's one of my passions, right? Imagine you were in a plane, right? And this is a big plane, and all of a sudden, there is no pilot. There's no captain and no first officer. And the flight attendant says, we have an emergency. Our pilots are gone. Do we have a pilot in the plane? And everyone looks, is there a pilot in here? And then you creep up, says,
There's parachute.
and yeah, you kind of creep up. I'm not a pilot, but I've did the flight simulator. Would that help? Yeah, come on in, I'm glad to see you, right? But imagine is this, look, okay, it's a bigger scheme of it, right? Even though I said flight simulator, right, it's only common sense, right? Common sense is most of your planes have an autopilot, right? If you know that most planes, just like cars, right? Your Teslas can't, guess what? They can drive themselves.
Right.
If you look out in the street now, there's cars that are not, no bodies in there are taking passengers.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
That's
crazy. It's in
crazy.
San Francisco.
yeah, they're here too.
Are they in LA?
They're
Oh, yeah.
here in LA. I've seen a car, where there's no driver.
That's
There's
crazy.
cameras all over it,
Yeah.
and then you see passengers in the back, and the car's driving
Oh,
itself.
my God. I would like that.
True story.
What?
There's little wagons, guys, on the sidewalk that take your food. It's called, what is it called?
Making sushis and fruit.
Yeah, they'll take
Oh,
your
I've seen
food.
those at pig.
Yeah, it's a little remote control that's going in the sidewalk,
Yeah,
delivering your
That's
food.
crazy.
what kind of cars are those though? What's the
I
name?
don't know
of
what the
those?
name of it.
Yeah.
Are they like Teslas or?
They're not like Teslas, they're remote control cars that pick you up and take you with no
I
driver.
thought they were testing those cars. I see them all the time.
There's people in it.
Crazy.
If you YouTube it, you'll see, cars with no driver.
Oh,
Cars.
They're having a lot of accidents.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's called Waymo.
Waymo?
Waymo, yeah.
Waymo.
Self-driving cars.
Wow. So how many would jump on a car and jump on
Not
a
yet.
freeway
Maybe
with
not
no
yet.
driver?
I don't
The way
trust
of
it
the
yet.
future, guys. There's restaurants that don't have employees anymore. Everything is done. A lot of places back east are seeing a lot of restaurants where they're making fast food chains, make your food, everything conveyor, drop, you pay. Even go to McDonald's now and you can pay for your order without ever talking to a person.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Even, on that note, AI is huge right now. It's
Mhm.
Facebook, I just see it on Facebook.
Yeah, move into the negotiating process, right? So we have the arsenal of tools and now we're presenting our case, right? It's like an attorney, okay? An attorney has to know the case, right? They're gonna interview, they're gonna talk to you, they're gonna try to get as much information, right? And now they have to compel their position because their ultimate is to defend you, right? Or if you're the prosecution, is to be able to find you guilty, right? So they have to mentally prepare for it, and that's to present the case. And then obviously the last point of it is the position, who both parties to closer to the full agreement, right? We have to make win-wins in every parameter in place, guys, right? Because if the buyer and the seller can agree to it, we move closer and closer and closer to closing the deal. That's simple.
Simon, is this just to present the offer, just to get it accepted? Was the 3 Ps only just to get accepted from the buyer to the seller? Is that all it's enticing right now?
Yeah.
Is that all you're talking about right now? The 3
Correct.
Ps? Okay,
That is
just that
correct.
little,
That's correct.
okay.
Yeah. All right, so prepare goes into the formula, and this is maybe what you're asking for. Know your goal, know your client, think ahead, set clear expectations, be informed, obey the laws, and know the documents inside and out, right? What are the 3 things that I always preach all the time? Learn contracts, learn negotiations, and learn objection handling, right? So these kind of align to all of this, right? What is your goal? What are we trying to accomplish here, right? At the end of the day? Well, I want to get my offer on, I want to sell my property. Know your clients, okay? Well, if you don't know your clients, how are you going to succeed?
Right.
You got to know your clients as well, right? You got to think ahead, right? 2 or 3 steps ahead. You got to know what to expect, right? And if you don't, what roadblocks may you encounter, right? That's important. Set clear expectations, right? Don't sugarcoat it. Because if you sugarcoat it and it goes sideways, you look like the bad person. Be authentic, be you, and if you don't know, you don't know. That's simple. Don't complicate things, folks. Be informed, right? Learn what's current events. All of the changes, training, take advantage of it, especially if it's free.
Yeah.
Okay? There's a lot of stuff and resources that you can use for your benefit. Obey the laws, right? Never take shortcuts. Always do the right thing. Because you work so darn hard to get that real estate license, but in a split instant, you can lose that license too because you did something you shouldn't have done. Know the documents inside and out, right? Common sense, right?
Yeah.
If you don't know, get the right person to help you. This is when you have the resources to help you navigate. Ask purposeful questions. Provide you with the point you will negotiate on. Provide insight on where you and your clients will have leverage. Set clear expectations. Allow to get to know your client and their goal. Help you learn what will make it happen. So, everything that we do is all about a purpose, right? you got into an amazing career that we call real estate, right? And the essence of what we do is sometimes very complicated, sometimes very stressful. Sometimes, you just feel it's like I'm doing all of this and I'm not seeing the results to it. Because you're putting a lot of effort into it and you're not seeing a return on it. Remember, at the end of the day, this is not a 9 to 5, this is not an hourly, this is not a salary. It's based on your activities that lead you to that open opportunities with no guarantee that you're going to close the deal. Alan, you know this firsthand, the ups and the downs, right? On so many deals that feel that they're going to close and it goes sideways.
Three in the middle of the year,
Yeah.
and it was good, and I was just like, extension after extension, it's like.
Absolutely.
Couldn't
the
be
worst
learning
things.
why I have to.
Yeah.
Simon, can you be honest? I mean, if you're gonna give us like a percentage. 20 years till now, how many percent has become more difficult this industry?
I'm sorry, the percentage of
20
what?
years till now. How many percent has become more difficult this industry? Like 20%,
Yeah,
50%?
so you gotta remember, I started in the 90s. Where we didn't have technology, okay? And even there, then was tough, okay? Now, 27 years later, 28 years later, the core still stands the test of times. What I mean is, real estate has definitely changed, has changed, but the core principle has not, okay? The future is going to be very interesting. I foresee less and less agents in real estate, just like we see in other industries. Because automation is going to take over. Technology is going to take over. Why do I need an agent where I can streamline the process? Okay. I can now go through and get qualified for a home loan whenever talking to a mortgage broker. I can literally just apply and I'll know if I qualify for a loan. So imagine agents, which is still the heart of what we do, gets eliminated, right? And now it's all done automatic. Where AI is now part of the process. Where it looks like me, but it's a virtual person.
It's a hologram.
Yeah.
I mean, how many percent the reason is because there are a lot of agents, or how many percent the technology? Which one is the reason? I mean, both, but.
Remember, we still have a lot of the older generation that didn't start with technology, right? And now like the new millennials that are like late 90s, early 2000, that embrace, right? Because I remember my nephew who was 10 years old as a little kid, he got my phone, knew how to maneuver this and go into YouTube and do what it's like, how do you do this?
Yeah.
Well, it comes naturally to there, or to me, it's like, it's complicated, right?
Their referral is helping them. Those old agents, they don't have our know-how, but knowledge, but their referrals.
Well, there's always gonna be, I think, that
So the-
customer that, that's old fashioned,
Right,
because they're not gonna wanna go through a computer
Right,
only, especially if they don't know how to use it. So I
Yeah.
think there's always gonna be those that are not like that, they don't like that. I mean, I have Spanish buyers that they know English and they're like, oh, I want someone with Spanish,
Spanish,
And I'm like, do you have a computer, maybe you have an email? No, I do everything, in person still. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah.
And you have those.
So going back to your question, I don't know what the percentage is. I want to say maybe about 25%.
Why?
I don't know. We would have to do some data on it.
No.
Maybe go to AI and type it in.
That's why. you're living it.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have doctors that are gonna.
The technology is our friend, is helping us. In the meantime, it's our enemy.
It is, it helps,
60% zero.
it helps, but it also can be disadvantaged because that information can be used to eliminate us in the future, which I could foresee that happening now. If planes could fly by themselves, cars could drive by themselves, right?
But it's
Food
still-
can be delivered and cook without actually using someone,
Yeah,
you know, what's to say that we're gonna be obsolete in the future too? You know, remember the movie RoboCop?
yeah,
Yeah,
Okay. You know, and this was back in 1984 when this movie came out, the original RoboCop, right? That they were thinking about the future. And the future was to have police, robots,
yeah,
run the streets where we're not gonna see human beings die, right? Be able to be accurate shooters, right, and arrest and put back people.
Cost effective.
Yeah, now a lot of the departments are having Teslas as their patrol units. Beverly Hills, I believe, just enacted where they're having Teslas as, or Pasadena, I think it was, that have Teslas as their police.
and they have that robo dog that
Yeah.
goes in.
Yeah, and they have robot dogs now that can go in there, detect stuff and all that. So the way for the future on everything. Look at all these future movies, right, that talks about us living in space. That's gonna be before, that's gonna be way after my time. In real estate, who knows what real estate, imagine if we had a scope to go 50 years from now, 100 years from now, what real estate would be. You know, maybe real estate agents will not be part of it because the generation that was not involved with the technology has died. You know, so.
Our customers coming are computer savvy.
Exactly. Now let's go into open versus closed questions. So open-ended questions, questions that have unlimited response options compared to closed-ended questions, right? What additional information should I know? What is important about closing in 30 days? How do you feel about that? Whereas closed-ended questions, do you have to sell your home by a specific date? Yes. Do you have any offers? No. What is the bottom line price you're willing to consider? 150,000. Okay. Both have different statements here, right? And both we use as part of our negotiations. Open-ended questions is you pull information, right? Well, what's important to you, Mimi, about selling your home?
Yeah, being
Okay.
closer to my grandkids.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah.
Why is that important?
I want to see them every day.
Yeah. Okay.
Even though my son would be like, no.
Exactly. But the essence is that's a good reason to pull information to see the motivation, right? That Mimi has, or Allie has, right? Or as an example, or you too, Jack. Whereas I could say, well, do you need to sell your house by the end of the month?
Yes.
Okay, then that stops the conversation. Now I have to try other stuff where I'd rather get the answer and have her spill it to me than me asking and asking and asking and asking. That is the difference. Negotiations is this, folks. Okay. I'm gonna give you an example.
Pulling information.
See this pen?
Mhm.
You guys see this pen?
yes.
Sell me that pen.
Oh. Okay, hi Simon,
Hi,
how are you doing today?
I'm well. How are you?
I am just fantastic.
Good.
How's your day coming along?
Oh, wonderful.
Oh, great. Well, I can see all the hard work you put into it. Well,
Yes, thank you.
well, let me tell you something.
Okay.
I am just such a hard worker as you are, you know,
Oh,
and let me
amazing.
tell you something that
Okay.
really
Tell
helps
me
me.
something.
Tell me
more.
that something really helps me is this pen.
Okay,
Oh, this pen, Orange Title. Do you know, have you heard of Orange Title?
I have.
It's a great company. It's a great title company. In fact, I use it for my escrows all the time.
Wonderful.
And it's, you know, this pen is also great because it's fat. I have fat fingers and I can see you have fat fingers too. And you know, if you got chunky fingers, believe me, I have those too, you know,
Yeah.
so I can like write for hours and
Stop.
hours.
Got it, okay. Give her a round of applause.
Yeah.
Sell me this pen. Maybe sell me this pen.
Simon, I need you to sign this document and you need a pen.
Okay,
So
all right.
So you need to buy this to sign this document,
Okay, how much is this pen?
$5.
$5, okay, all right. I will give you $2.
Okay, how about $2.50?
Okay, how about $2.10?
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome, all right, okay. Hold this again, give me the pen, all right, so everyone, thank you, all right? Send it my way.
Give you the pen?
Yeah, tell me, sell me this pen,
Again?
to me,
So,
you send it to me,
I just sold it to you.
no, I want you to ask me, you tell me, Simon, sell me this pen,
Oh, Simon, sell me this.
okay? So let me ask you, what is important to you about a pen?
Oh, God, to me, oh, God, I have been writing for 20 years
Okay,
and my whole hand hurts now from writing. So I need a
Okay.
really a good pen that won't hurt my hands.
okay, so what I'm hearing, Joel, is that you need something that's sturdy, right?
But not
Okay.
too
Do
heavy.
you like something that is like fine print or more of a thickness in?
Probably a little bit more thick, but not fat, because I don't want to be writing like
Yeah, because you're
this,
like, but I'm hearing you're like me, I like to have like fine, like a pencil type, fine print, because it's easier when it comes to writing.
Oh, yeah, the ink, oh my God.
Got it.
I fell in love with the ink, by the way. You got good ink, high quality.
Yeah,
you
well,
know.
this particular pen that I'm, promoting has all of those qualities, and then
Oh, really?
may I show you?
Sure.
Yeah, so this is the pen that I have.
Uh-huh.
Now, even though this pen looks very expensive, this pen is very reasonable. Take a look at it. Okay,
Okay.
how do you feel? How does it feel in your hand?
It's great.
Feels great,
That's a
right?
great.
Yeah. And you were telling me that you do a lot of writing, and that's something that you've been doing for the last 20 years, right? So imagine how much more this will impact you by having this particular quality of a pen in your hands.
Wow. Yeah, well, I need to test it.
Okay,
I
go
mean,
for it.
everybody tells me the same thing,
We'll try it out and tell me what you
Okay.
feel. Okay, this is the Ferrari of pens.
Okay. It's a great pen. The structure is great, but the ink is not so great.
Okay, so let me ask you, give me that pen back. If I was to, because we have options as well. So if this one doesn't fit your parameter, I have another one that may fit your parameter request. Would that be of interest?
Sounds expensive,
It's not expensive. What is expensive to you?
like a $300 pen sounds.
Well, we're nothing near to $300. You know what this pen is gonna cost you?
Oh my God, I don't know. If you tell me it's $10, I'll take it right.
Yeah, guess what? It's
It's
free.
what?
It is free.
How do I get a free pen?
Easy. Title.
Okay.
So, what you think?
Good.
Okay, the philosophy of the open-ended and closed, right? For a lot of us, the mentality is, oh my gosh, I'm trying to sell a pen. It's not about selling the pen, ladies and gentlemen. It's about her. Does that make sense?
Uh-huh.
I'm trying to find the core of he and what she needs. That wraps around her needs and wants. Does that make sense? Okay, it wasn't a trick question, okay, but thank you for participating. Do we, question?
Dialogue.
It's all about the dialogue, absolutely.
Yeah, and do you need it, yeah.
That's right. All right, so what are my questions, right? What would happen if, helps you anticipate the next step of the negotiation? Why is that important to you? Did you hear me say that, right? Why is it important to you? Why is it maybe that you need to be closer to your son or your grandchildren, right? Because it asks more qualified questions to get to the core, especially if the seller is hesitant or the buyer is hesitant, right? An example is like the new buyer representation agreement. Okay, people are freaking out. Ooh, I don't want to sign a buyer representation agreement.
Right.
All right, and I get it. But the essence is, it's not something to be afraid of. Because if you know how to navigate and articulate the form, you're gonna get more buyers to sign the agreement. It's just your execution and how you approach it,
Right.
folks. That's it. It's the way you deliver it, just like sell me the pen. You guys are selling me the pen. I didn't want you to sell me the pen based on what it does of the thickness. I just want to know what is it best for you? What are you looking from a pen? Well, I need something that writes. I need something that's okay. I got that. Okay. Does it have to be blue? Does it have to be red? It has to be red because I'm a teacher. Okay. I got those as well, right? I'm trying to wiggle my way to the core to make her say yes. Because she already told me that she's not going to pay $300 for a pen, but she said she will pay $10 for a pen. That's an expensive pen.
$10 a good pen.
Yeah, it's still an expensive pen.
Well, you wanna write, you gotta write.
But I just gave you this for free.
Yeah. I don't
And it
know.
still does.
Seems a lot.
And it still does what it needs to do, right? You want to sign? You can sign with a free pen as much as the 10 or a $300
Yeah, I'm
pen.
just picking.
Okay, I get it. So that's where I would focus my position is trying to get to the core of what she wants. Because I could sell her a 15 or a $10 pen if I wanted to. Because I could say, yeah, okay, does this meet all of the criteria that
You're
you're
right,
looking?
I think it's some-
Okay, I get it. Okay, but what if I was to switch it and say this pen here, right? Compare one or the other, right? And I just give you both of these, right? And you said, this one I like better. Okay, well, this one is gonna cost you $15.
Mhm.
Okay,
That's expensive.
yeah.
Mhm.
In essence, this might have been cheaper than this one,
Mhm.
but I just sold you because that was what your preference was. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so you gotta ask open-ended questions. What would happen if we did this or that, right? So tell me, Ally, once we sell your home, what's gonna be the next, right? What are you planning to do? Because if you're not asking, her interpretation could be that she may find another realtor.
Yeah.
And I might not be asking those questions, it's like, she may be looking to be locally, right? But if I'm not asking, she may think, oh, I'm only gonna have her sell her home and I'm done.
Yes, no.
But if you're not asking additional questions, I might get another opportunity
Right.
to help her from selling to buying.
Because they have to go somewhere.
Yeah, you can put on,
Yeah.
relocating, or downsizing.
Before you
Yeah.
change this,
Yeah.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
I've been through a lot of these questions, like what, why, how, when, where, why.
Uh-huh.
But why is that a very popular question? Because people say that creators of this say that it can be pretty interrogative when you ask why. So I know why is important, why it helps you gain more information, but how can you say why without saying why? Is it the way you say the word, or is it the way you ask a question, the why questions, or?
So okay, let's take out the why out of it. Okay, let's just remove why. What else can we use other than why?
What is it? You can say what is
How
important.
much
to
is
you
this
about
important to you?
Yeah, or tell me more.
Mhm.
Okay, we don't have to use the why. We can use other ways of articulating that conversation in our statement. Is that important to you?
Is it important to you to be closer to work?
Yeah,
You don't want to be on the freeway.
yeah. So we can eliminate the why, but this is just for illustration purposes. All right, so instructions, work with the partner. Okay, let's skip this part for now. Best practice when presenting, call the other agent, pay attention to nonverbal. Okay, let's skip that. All right, position, acknowledge and affirm common ground, ask what and how questions, know the position in the process, know when to walk away. Okay, that's pretty self-explanatory. Work your safe partner, let's skip this, skip this. All right, let's go into the negotiations tips because we got 15 minutes less. All right, negotiation tips. Okay, so here are some of the common tips that I that the training recommends. All right, be professional. Would you work with someone that's not professional? Probably not, right? Yeah, I know I wouldn't want to work with anyone that's not professional. Because if they're not professional, that's not gonna be a good representation of who I am. The other party may think that that's also who I am, right? So no, keep your goal in mind, right? What is the goal, right? Every deal is, I need to close this deal, right? So when you start thinking of how you're gonna close that deal, folks, it makes it so much realistic that the process is gonna get to the finish line. But you gotta have that in mind, yes, okay. I just put this buyer into escrow. I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z to make sure that everything is in alignment and that everything's an efficient process and we get them to the finish line. That's the key, right? Pay attention to your communication and tone with anyone involved in the transaction, right? Having everyone involved, your escrow, your lender, your TC, your broker, your clients, your sellers, whoever's involved in the process, you want to make sure that communication and that you're paying attention to what's happening. Because this can go sideways quickly, very quickly. Okay? It can get derailed very fast. You want to make sure that it stays in alignment to the finish line, right? Otherwise, it's going to cancel, everyone loses.
Yeah.
Continue to refer to your client's motivation when speaking with them. Okay, another key component, right? Buyers are getting cold feet, you know, and most agents get in situations and scenarios where the buyers do get cold feet. Okay, how do you continue keeping them in the forefront of that transaction without closing the deals, right? Or canceling the deal? Well, Mimi, I'm gonna use you as an example, okay? And let's say that you're getting cold feet.
Yeah,
All right, so you're calling me and you have some news you want to tell me. And she's gonna tell me, Simon, I'm getting a little scared, a little worried. I think I want to back out of this deal, so go for it.
I'm not sure if I can afford the payments, I'm getting really nervous about that.
Okay, yeah. I completely understand, you know, it's definitely something new, right? And with the uncertainty of everything, you know, I know for a fact how you feel because I've also felt that when I bought my house too, right? But look at the bigger picture, okay? In the beginning, you told me that this house hits all the bells and whistles, right?
Okay.
And you said that you can picture yourself in this home, right? Yeah, your family, your grandkids and all that, right? And based on your qualifications, you know, your lender would qualify for this particular home, right? In essence, what you're paying now as to what you're gonna compare, it's a shock, yeah. That now you're realizing that extra $2,000 it's a big burden, right? And I get it. But let's separate one from the other, right? You renting and you buying, right? And the essence is this house in 30 years or less will be yours free and clear. You renting for 30 years, you will never see a cent of appreciation, nor any ability to continue having the same rent that you pay right now. Because I can tell you that every year or every other year, that rent is gonna go up. And at any time, maybe that renter, or excuse me, that landlord will tell you to leave because they may wanna move in, may wanna move in family, or something to that nature, right?
Yeah.
Whereas home ownership, you can increase the value by adding additional square footage to your home, adding a new bedroom, new bathroom, landscaping the home. Remember, home ownership is like a piggy bank. Every month that you're paying out that mortgage, you're increasing the equity in the property. Okay, where now in the near future, you can leverage that by putting out a line of credit, refinancing, buying a second home or an investment home, selling it and buying to a bigger area or a bigger home in a nicer area that you desire. So don't look at it from that parameter, look at the bigger pictures. Now, the cool thing is you can have as many people helping you with the mortgage too, whereas renting, if you put that it was 2 adults and 1 child, and you add another adult, that's a breach of contract. They can force you to vacate because you broke the contract. So look at all of that.
Yeah.
Are you sure that this is the decision you want to make?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, now that you put it that way, definitely.
Yeah. Right.
You just reassured me.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And remember, this is not your forever home. You marry the home, but you date the interest rate. Okay? And the reason you want to do that is, what if the interest rate in the future comes down to what you're paying now, and now your mortgage payment drops now significant,
Right.
okay? Or the beauty is, you build a substantial equity on the property, right?
Yeah.
Or now you're putting a larger down payment for a home in similar price, where now your mortgage payment is a lot less. You gotta sacrifice a little bit now, so look at the bigger picture.
Yeah, that
Yes.
makes sense.
So the Taurus is not under rent control, right?
Yeah.
Okay, this is my first question. Second question, you say be professional, just like we check each other in the MLS agents, how many deals listing. What is the recourse that the consumers can tell if I sold how many properties? Can they tell?
If they could tell how many homes you, well, they could do a little bit of research, like homes.com. They could see, now, homes.com is not accurate. Like, let me,
How many
Can you
transactions
compare
this agent has closed?
say again?
The consumer can know how many transactions I have closed or how many listings I have.
I don't think they have the ability to know how many, but if they find like something that you put that has sold X amount of homes, then yeah, they can find that information. The only people that really know is other agents.
Yeah, I know,
Because-
other than that, in case they don't have Instagram or Google, right?
That's
This is
right.
their recourse.
Yeah, but remember, like homes.com, if you create a profile, homes.com pulls your MLS information, and that's public information. So if I type in your information, it'll populate how many transactions
They
you
go to
closed.
Keller Williams website.
Not Keller Williams website, no, that's not gonna have
I have
that.
put some fake reviews over there, that's fine. Well, I don't know if you.
I hear you. All right, don't reveal too much, listen more than talk, keep your clients motivated, close to your chest. Don't be attached to the outcome. Remember, as real estate agents, take your emotions out of it, okay? And stay to the facts of the contract, right? Because you want to continue having that consistency in the process. Because once something happens and it derails the transaction, it's game over, now you're back to square one. So in essence, what we need to do is, how do we stay motivated, right? And the motivation is, if they see you stressed or they see you upset, it's gonna damper on the situation. And a lot of agents unfortunately kill their own deals.
Yeah.
They kill their own deals, and they don't have to, but they do. So take your emotions out, stay to the facts of the contract, and don't get emotionally entangled on it. Let the buyer, let the seller make their own decision, right? We just have to navigate that, right? So let's use this as an example. Who wants to role play with me?
Me. Somebody else.
I'm gonna let Jack role play with me. All right, Jack. I want you to just throw your worst. You're a buyer and you're just like, I don't know, I don't want this place anymore. So be that tough buyer. We're in escrow.
Hello, Simon, how are you? It's Jack again. So yesterday I was thinking with my wife, so we wanna cancel the deal, run back up on this deal.
Oh no, Jack, what's the reason?
So
Why do you want to cancel?
So there are some situations and many things, not only the price, other than, first of all, it's a little bit overpriced. And secondly, we might needed.
Let me pause you for one,
Different
let me
feature.
pause you for 1 second, Jack, okay? You said it's overpriced. How do you know that it's overpriced?
So, I don't know, some friends told us because we saw also other people buying homes with the same features, a lot less, and it's only 6 months.
Jack, we
before.
haven't even done the
6
appraisal yet. We haven't even got the appraisal done. Let's get the appraisal done, and the appraisal will dictate if you overpaid for your house. Because if it doesn't appraise, Jack, we have 3 ways to negotiate. 1, we can ask the seller to come down on the appraised value. 2, we can move somewhere in the middle, or 3, we can cancel.
It's the first reason about the price, and also it might be also another house with different features.
I understand that, but do you
It's the
know?
location.
Okay, so let me answer the other one. You know that, see this room? Guess what I can do to this room? I can make this room into 2 bedrooms, a kitchen and a bathroom and a living room. This room right here. Okay, so we can make it to your specs, right? But we cannot do it if you're not the owner of the property. But as soon as I give you the keys to this beautiful house, you can destroy it and make it the way you want it, custom made to your needs. Okay,
Making it expensive, why not checking a different property?
I understand that. I understand that, okay? But what if the house that you do want, and we submit an offer, and your offer doesn't get accepted? Are you gonna be upset again? Because you didn't get that property that you want? Okay, this is not your forever home, Jack, okay? We're already in escrow. Now, if you truly believe that you don't want this property, you're within the rights to cancel. Okay, but that means that I have to tell the seller, I got to tell the listing agent, which in return will tell the seller, right? And put yourself, if you were the seller, how would you feel if the buyer backs out, after accepting your offer? So I just need you to understand that moving forward, because my goal is to do whatever you want me to do, right? But I also don't want to waste anyone's time if you're uncertain moving forward. Because if we find another property, I want to be crystal clear that this is the house you want. Otherwise, let's not even bother submitting an offer, so we're not wasting people's time. You okay with that?
Okay, maybe it was my fault at the beginning, I didn't
It's
give you
someone's
enough
fault.
information that
Yeah.
I found something.
Jack, it's not your fault, my friend, okay? And I respect your decision. I will, kindly prepare the cancellation. You can't win all the time, ladies and gentlemen,
So
okay?
it's like gambling,
Yeah.
It's gambling, there you go. Absolutely, Jack, yeah. You got it, spot on, brother.
Otherwise, I go Vegas, it's easier than Vegas.
That's right.
I win and also it brings.
Exactly. Exactly, so. Okay, let's continue. All right, I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, all of this, okay, last one. I engage every conversation in the spirit of, I think we said this
Yeah.
before, spirit of contribution, and the people are happy, be in relationship with me. Okay. We already did role playing, so we're gonna bypass all this. Celebrate your success, about command, and that concludes.